All right, welcome everyone to another XR News. And today we're having our regular monthly innovation spotlight. This is one of my favorite events. I just love this. It brings together Maxwell McGee, Chris Madsen, and Dr. Tom Furness. They take turns, come in and out. Sometimes they're all together, sometimes they're not, but they bring them together to really explore the innovation that is XR and really put a spotlight on emerging technology and all the possibilities and capabilities that is happening here. My name is Laurel. I'm the Director of Educators in VR and the producer of XR News. I want to remind everyone that we host this show every single week here in the beautiful and amazing Burbank. No, we're in Engage XR. It's our Burbank, California. No, it's in Engage XR. We love Engage XR and we love their support. And we're here every Wednesday. Twice a month, we bring you the news from across the metaverse, the news you can use. And then on the first Wednesday of the month, we have Rachel D with the Med Health edition of XR News. And today is our Innovation Spotlight. So get ready. You can follow all the news and links and everything that we share is on all of our social media channels on Educators in VR, in LinkedIn and Facebook and Discord and everywhere else. So please follow along, join us, subscribe to our YouTube. The video will be up on our YouTube. And we really want to thank all of our amazing sponsors who make this possible every single week. Reinhardt Foundation, Vertex Form 3D, Cadets Metaverse, Virtual World Society, Bridgemakers, Girls STEAM Institute, Engage XR, who we couldn't do this without them. Absolutely love them. Immersive Learning Research Network, which is just getting ready to have their big annual conference in Korea. They're going to have some interesting news and feedback from that, so do check that out. And again, this is produced by Educators in VR. So I want to introduce to you Maxwell McGee, who is an amazing voice actor, metaverse pioneer, and amazing professor. So it's all you, unless you want me here.
Yeah, I always want you here, Laurel.
Maxwell.
Well, listen, thank you so much again for that wonderful intro. It is so great to see everybody once again for the XR Innovation Spotlight. And I'm really glad that you said, well, actually right before we started filming, Laurel, you had talked about how the industry is shifting and they keep saying that VR is dead, VR is dead. That is very much what my presentation, my experience
Yay!
today. I don't even want to say presentation because it is, I want to skip through the slides as quickly as possible so that we can get to the actual experience side of things. This is
ready.
Can engage with, and no pun intended. To say. So I am going to just quickly share my desktop. All right. So what I wanted to talk about with everybody today is just this. The immortal side of XR is what I'm at least trying to call it. I'm not trying to trademark it or anything. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. The immortal side of XR, I do think that with all of the recent news with the layoffs and things that have been going on, it is very important to have a understanding of what XR actually is and pretty much what it does, but also how we interact with it. More specifically, enterprise and education and how we interact with it. So there's going to be a couple of experiences that I'm going to be bringing everyone through today, showing you basically, hey, the funny thing, or more so the ironic thing, even though the industry is changing a lot, I got to tell you, my work with McGee Innovation Labs here, and especially in Connecticut, has not slowed down even remotely. It hasn't really been affected by the software's closing, hardware. Any of these changes haven't really affected my business because most of my business is done with private clients. So with hospitals, with respiratory therapy programs, with recreational, occupational therapy programs. So a lot of these programs that I run, I just need a headset and a software that's going to run the experiences. That's what I need. And those
and you could be anywhere as you run it, working with people who are anywhere.
Yes, absolutely, which is very nice. The remote option of being both on location and being able to speak to those who are in remote environments is very nice. In fact, I have bringing on some interns for the lab this summer that are going to be world building. So they're going to be building some of these, helping in building some of these experiences that we've got going on. Actually, the picture that you see up on the screen is one of the very basic introductory medical experiences that we do. Some of them are a little bit more on the private side, so I can't show too much. But this is one of the introductory blood flow, three-dimensional blood flow charts that I have showing. So here's the difficult news. All right, as we all know, large companies, very large companies, and small, kind of medium-sized organizations as well. Very sadly, VR chat. It feels like a while ago, but it actually really wasn't that long ago. Had to do layoffs themselves. Meta had to do massive layoffs to a number of their teams, including the XR teams, and all the wonderful folks that have been working so incredibly hard to make innovative changes with Meta. Actually, I had the pleasure of interviewing the woman who had helped completely build the Oculus Link Air, so the Oculus Link technology, and help advance that further. That was done at Meta by really extraordinary people, a number of people who sadly have been let go. That is the difficult news. All right, we have to accept that. It is totally okay, because
And I want to, okay, there's the because, but I also want to reiterate, it made huge news because Meta is not good at marketing. Made huge news about 7,000 people being laid off. They weren't laid off, they were reassigned. And we have to be really careful with how we feed that into the whole network of it in the last couple of days at Meta. So we just have to be careful. They weren't all
yes,
fired and let go. They were just reassigned. They're still working. They're still working.
still working. So absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the big things, is that one thing that is true is that Meta has shifted its focus a number of times throughout the years. More so, namely, because it used to be Facebook, and then completely changed things around, changed its
Mm-hmm.
approach to the market and the technologies that it focused on. And the good news is that enterprise education XR is definitely here to stay. One of the greatest businesses that I know of, which I worked with them for a number of years, is Optima Ed. Absolutely obsessed with Optima Ed. In fact, I use them in a lot of the pitches that I have with independent clients and corporations that basically are saying, hey, I don't even know if this will be successful. And I say, hey, it already is. This already exists. This is already successful. This is already going on right now. So one of the things that I wanted to show today, which I do have permission to show, kind of the lighter versions of some of these experiences, but there is a university in Connecticut which I had the pleasure of building, deploying, and managing their recreational therapy medical diagnosis simulations. And I've actually
Cool.
in some of the AIs, Laurel, before. I actually brought in the Waiter AI the other day to these environments, but I finally have the go-ahead, again, a lighter version of it, to bring you all into the simulations where those AI are existing. And there is going to be the first one we are going to do, which we are going to get into in a moment, which is wheelchair accessibility. Now, it's something that a lot of people don't think about. It's something that after doing this simulation and building this out, I think about all the time. And wheelchair accessibility is something that I think a lot of people assume is like kind of good right now. No, it's still horrendous. It's actually in very, very bad shape. A number of businesses, educational institutions that have accessibility issues, and it's something, again, you don't really think about. Sometimes I'll walk into a store. I remember going into a Dick's the other day and noticing there was 2 floors. One of them had an escalator in order to get to the second floor, and then I walked up to the guy, one of the employees, and I said, "Hi, how do you get to the second floor if you can't take an escalator?" And he says, "Oh, well, the escalator will turn into stairs if it breaks down." I'm like, that's not even remotely close to what I meant by that. Is there any other options? And he said there was no elevator, there was nothing. And I was very sadly disappointed by that. So the first simulation we're going to go through, I'm going to give everybody 5 minutes. You just have 5 minutes. And here's the
All
situation.
right.
You are confined to a wheelchair, and as you enter into a conference event space, you have to get up to the second floor, which you can see. It's actually the Engage Island conference space. You have to get up to the second floor in order to get to a meeting in 5 minutes, or else you will be late to this particular meeting.
Awesome.
The objective is go around, try and find a key input, try and find a way to get to the elevator, try and get into the elevator, as well as try and speak to a number of the employees. They're going to have an Ask Me button on top of their heads, and feel free to communicate with them. And then we're all going to reconvene after, and we're going to discuss that particular simulation.
And no teleporting.
Yes, no teleporting. Just do your regular motions as you would in your headset or on your desktop, because a part of this challenge as well is that there is a number of terrain inside that makes it so that you literally cannot move over it. All right.
Wonderful. All right, let's go.
Okay, so loading everything up. Once again, everybody's going to get 5 minutes the moment that we appear in there. And let's go for it. I just need to load this up. Perfect. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Five minutes to find access to the elevator. Remember, you are confined to a wheelchair in this instance. Please go up to the AIs. Feel free to ask them questions. Probably a good idea as well, if 3D voice is not already on, to set that on. And my 3D voice is off right now. Everybody should be able to hear me, but please go up to the AIs and try and find access to an elevator so that you can get to your meeting on the second floor. There's an exclamation point up on that second floor over there that shows you where it is.
Can you tell me where an elevator is? I'm looking for an elevator.
Oh, good luck with that. I think there's one somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Maybe on the other side of the convention center.
Okay.
Or it could be just around the corner. Or maybe
Oh,
not.
dear. I think that might have been a hint.
All right, everybody, 3 minutes left. Once again, 3 minutes left.
Oh, too many directions. Ay, Dios mío. Okay. Wait, okay, give me the first direction, please. Ugh. Give me just the first direction. I can only handle 2 directions at a time, and barely that. Can you please give me the first 2 directions to get to the elevator? No, not really, but straight down this hall towards the posters. Okay.
Let me use this person. Hi, I'm trying to get to the second floor, and I need to know how to get up there. Can you tell me where the elevator is, please? Long time to think, aren't you? Can you tell me where I need to go to get to the second floor, please? Disappeared. Oh.
All right,
shucks.
and that is time. All right. Oh, and right on time as well as the actual experience has wrapped up. Actually, let's go back to the stage over here. Get up on the stage. I would also love to.
And Dr. Tom Furness is with us. Yay, Tom, you made it. Lovely. Yay.
Welcome, welcome, Dr. Tom Furness.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about the experience first, and then Tom would love to hear updates on the Light School.
Okay.
So for
Okay, this was fascinating, Maxwell. So you want to summarize what just happened, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the simulation is designed to frustrate you. That is the whole purpose.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole design, in fact, all three of the designs that I had built for them are the professor wanted the same thing for each one. They wanted students to experience the frustrations that their particular clients and patients go through on a daily basis. Basically, the empathy engine. Stepping into the shoes of someone else so that instead of just having something explained to them, they get to experience it themselves. And one of the things that, especially with research, shows is an issue with accessibility is knowledge. So when you go into these facilities, almost pretty much all of these AIs are designed to have no idea where the elevator is. Like they don't know. And you kind of have to ask them, well, do you work here? Do you, I don't understand. Are you... And I actually mixed both AIs together. There's like, this is like meant to be like kind of a Lenovo event. There's Lenovo staff and then there's like regular staff. And it's confusing because you have to ask yourself, well, who do I ask? Do I, like, the Lenovo people aren't familiar with this building, but then it seems like the staff aren't familiar with this building. Are they volunteers? Are they, like, how does this work? So it's specifically designed to absolutely to frustrate you over the course of the 5 minutes, just so people understand the inconveniences that their patients.
And the goal was to pretend that we were either in a wheelchair, we had accessibility issues, and we couldn't take the stairs. So the goal is to look for an elevator or some access to get upstairs. And I played around too long with that door code business.
Yes. That one is also like kind of a trick. There is a button in the real version that will get you access to the stairs. Like it'll remove, I placed in the Engage editor an invisible barrier on the stairs and a particular button. If you search for long enough and you ask just the right questions, the AIs are designed to say, oh, actually, you know what? I do remember over there is, a button to essentially convert the stairs into an elevator. And then the invisible barrier appears. I'm going to be honest, not a single student has completed it yet. As
wow.
The 5 minutes is also designed to, there's just so much in here that I built in. It's very difficult to know what to do in that moment.
Absolutely.
Which again, what they're experiencing.
It's brilliant. Yeah, Tom, you've done so much work in simulations and whatnot, really, and the Light School tapping into the empathy engine. I love that term. How are you using XR to hit that, turn on that engine, that empathy engine?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. One of the ways we did it was we had yesterday in our Light School meeting, we have what is called Inspirational Speakers Series. And we had Mark Billinghurst, who was one of my former students, PhD students in electrical engineering. And he runs the Empathic Computing Lab at the University of Auckland in New Zealand, as well as another laboratory at the University of South Australia in Adelaide. And he told us about the research program that he's been conducting and basically looking at some of the physiological metrics of empathy because often we talk about empathy all the time, but how do you measure it? How do you measure empathy? It's not something necessarily you can put a gauge on your heart and say, okay, this person has 10 points of empathy. But what they are able to do is to use a combination of electrophysiological metrics, including brain waves and EKG and pulse rate and heart rate variability, these kinds of things, and especially eye direction, to determine really what influences the way decisions are made by people that are trying to guide, just like this practice we've done, how to guide people to help them achieve what they want to achieve. And they're finding that there's a lot of things that with just eye position itself that tells us about how people will then indeed go and do something to help another person by where they're looking around in the world before that. And so there's quite a bit of Mark has a number of students and interns, and has opened the door for people who would like to go to New Zealand and to Australia and spend an internship with him, further exploring these things. He has a number of PhD students, over 20 PhD students doing this. So back to answering your question, in the Light School, we're particularly interested in opening up the capabilities we have. We believe that most humans don't really realize how much power they have, and that one of the things that we want to do is help them to realize it. And we call our friends and colleagues and loved ones basic soul ships, just like an airship, only this is your soul. And you're interested in navigating your soul. How do you do that? How do you learn to do that? And it turns out the biggest obstacle in learning is actually your mind, is your brain, because it's trying to come up with solutions all the time when in fact you're not listening to your heart, you're listening to your brain. And the brain keeps telling you can't do that. You don't know how to do that. And so how about we take another thing and saying, you can do it here, let's try.
Yeah, and that's what I liked about this experiment. Yeah,
Yes,
in this experiment, if you're teaching students and you put them in this experience, Maxwell, you found that they got frustrated, which is a lesson in and of itself, because they're getting to really tap into that to understand. The more frustrated they get, I saw Karen up there just asking over and over this AI who was not giving. You did well done on the AI giving frustrating answers, and I got one of those. I really don't know. I might have known it sometime, but I don't know anymore. And when you're faced with those kind of obstacles, you tap into a different level of learning, because it comes through learning through frustration, which does sounds horrible, doesn't it?
Yes.
It
well, it
really
also
bad,
can train.
but it's
And
training.
it also can be, yes, it is. And not only is it training for you as an individual and how you would want to seek help, but it's also training the agents of how to give help. And this is where the empathic computing comes in. How do you recognize that a person is frustrated? How do you recognize that they're what they're trying to accomplish? What is their intent? And so in that analysis, you're able to say, okay, maybe I can help you this way. And so it's both sides. It's not only the user side, it's also the agent side, and helping the agents to be observant of what's going on.
Excellent, excellent. So where are you going to take us next, Maxwell, in this great empathy experiment?
Absolutely. So the next exercise that we're going to be doing is a slightly more of a cramped space. So if I could have everybody spread out just as much as possible when we do get in there. The next exercise is a left brain stroke medical diagnosis simulation. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what that means, you get something what is known as aphasia, which is everything you say in your head makes sense, But when it actually comes out, when you verbalize it, it is very difficult to understand. So with that, it becomes very hard to communicate on a day-to-day basis, including doing something as simple as just ordering some soup or a coffee or a donut, whatever it might be. And you also have tremors, so it's difficult to eat something like soup. It's easier to order something that you are familiar with and that you know that you can hold. All right. So what I would love for everybody to do is try and focus on, when we go into the restaurant, into the cafe, try and order something that you know you will be able to hold steadily. So try and avoid soup. All right. So we want to avoid. All right.
All right.
So no soup for anybody. Let's go for it.
Mm-hmm.
It should be this one right here. Okay, perfect. All right, we're loading in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, barista. I would like to have a ham sandwich, please. No, I don't want soup. I want a ham
Hi.
sandwich.
I'd like to have
Barista, can I have
a burger,
an iced
please.
black coffee, medium, please? Oh. Hey, barista, can I have an iced black
I don't
coffee,
want soup.
medium,
I want a ham
please?
sandwich,
Or
please.
grande if this is Starbucks.
Don't you understand what a ham sandwich is? H-A-M, ham sandwich. Please, ham sandwich. No soup, ham sandwich.
Would you like some soup with that? We
Uh,
have a lovely tomato basil today.
No
Hey
soup,
there,
just the
sorry,
coffee.
I'm having a hard time catching that. You said a bagel or a big caramel latte? We don't do burgers, but I can get you
Please.
something tasty.
Por favor.
A warm ham and cheddar
¿Entiendes el
panini,
español?
cheese sandwich, or a toasted
Ayúdame.
bagel.
I have a
For
problem
drinks,
with
we've got
being
your
able
coffee,
to
lattes,
hold soup
cappuccinos,
because
mochas, cold
I'm
brew,
not, I
and
have a
teas.
nervous
Want me to serve
condition.
you in a latte
So
for you?
therefore I can't eat soup.
You know
I want
what?
a ham
I would
sandwich.
Like
H
to have
A
M
M sandwich.
I already forgot the name of it. What was it called again? It was a
I
bagel,
understand. That must be
please,
difficult.
and a
Let's stick
latte.
to something else. How about some soup? It's warm and comforting.
Why don't you
Alright,
tell
2
me
minutes.
everything
Once
that's
again, 2
on your
minutes.
menu? Tell me all the things on your menu, and I will tell you the yes on the one I want and the no on the ones I don't want.
Of course. Here
Gotcha.
is what we have.
Sorry, I am hearing
1.
a little jumbled.
Soups,
You wanted
different
to
flavors
grill
each
the
day.
platter,
2.
or a baguette with a flat
Pastries
bite.
like
Let me
croissants and
fill up with
muffins.
good options.
3.
Bagel.
Snacks, chips and fruit.
Plain everything,
4.
salad.
Coffee and tea, various options.
I
I want
like
number
a
2.
Know what
bagel
sounds good.
and
Number
a
2.
Like to
latte.
try some soup?
Number 2. Number 2. Pastry.
How about the second
Yep.
one?
Or a
All
baguette
right,
with
30
cheese,
seconds.
sprinkles,
30
and a
seconds
layer.
left to
Here are
order.
your picks.
You did it.
Bagel.
Finally. Golly.
He is annoying.
Yeah.
Wow.
It looks like I'm not eating.
So where's my croissant?
Well, I got
After
my-
all of
I
that,
got my order, but
You
I
just
haven't-
going to stand there? Go get it.
How about getting me a croissant?
Yeah, we have two orders of
Anything
croissant.
else?
And a latte.
Can I have a croissant too?
Wanted a beagle. And I'm like, no, I said bagel.
Absolutely. I'll get you a croissant.
I figured
Would you
black
like that
coffee
warm
was
as well?
simple, but it kept wanting to give me soup, so
No, thank
All
you.
right, we are now wrapping up. 3, 2, and 1. All right.
That was hysterical.
I think
Okay.
Tom and Steph are paid actors. That
Okay,
was so
but you need yes, but we need to hear. Lance has got a great story. So Lance,
Lance, go ahead.
Okay, so I was talking to my barista, and she did not try to push soup to me, which is really nice. She didn't try to push that. I was trying to order a bagel, a plain bagel with everything on it and a latte. And it kept saying, I don't know what a beagle is, but here's the orders that you could get. I'm like, no, I'm not saying beagle. I'm saying bagel. And it just kept messing it up. So I looked at the kid and I was like, oh, looks like I'm not.
And that's part of the challenge, right? With aphasia is the fact that what you say is interpreted as something else. So the beagle bagel was wonderful example. Good job, Lance.
Yeah, but I'm beginning to wonder about Maxwell. How is he coming up with these things? He's okay. You know, he may be demented himself.
I think I am.
That's in his job description.
Yeah. So it very much. So what was really fun about this is I had to be kind of creative because, you know, Engage lets you do a ton with the AIs, but for this was challenging because when the professor requested it, I kind of had to say to them, well, you know, I can make them mishear you, but I can't program them to like misunderstand specific words and phrases. And then I experimented after like I think 3 or 4 hours. I told in the prompting, I told the AI, okay, here's what you do. Hear the letter E as A, hear the letter H as L, hear the letter. So that's why it heard, Lance, it heard beagle instead of bagel because I switched around the vowels and wordings. So basically AI would take what you said to them and it would automatically mix it around as if you had a patient.
You know what I should have probably tried to do? Order a beagle instead.
That was, and poor Tom unfortunately did not get his croissant at the end, so I'm very sorry about that. That was
my beagle.
Nobody got beagles, bagels, croissants. Nobody got anything. But this exercise especially, like students got a much better understanding of what people have to deal with when they're repeating themselves because it's programmed so that the AIs will eventually understand you, I think after anywhere between 8 and 10 times. And it has to be the same AI. So you have to talk to the same AI. So a lot of the students would give up and go to another AI and then it would reset that
counters.
Yeah, so it worked really well in causing a lot of frustration, but then the students were also like, okay, I understand this. This isn't just about repeating yourself. This is about you have to change the way you communicate entirely, which is exhausting beyond belief to just have a normal day and go through that pain and that frustration. So students then wrote papers on, instead of focusing on repeating themselves, they wanted to focus on changing their messaging, changing their communication, and try and find new ways for their clients and patients to communicate. So it was a great exercise. One of them even had the idea, what if I wrote everything down for my patients? You know, what they had said after kind of creating a sheet that helps me understand them better. And if I could write things down, that would work very well.
Did they find it was consistent that a person would use the same word for another word consistently?
Yes. So they did find, like, especially in their research and the ones that the professor had provided, it did show that there were exercises where in a lot of cases with vocal communication, they would replace not everything, but replace certain letters for certain wording. You know, certain sounds would be misinterpreted across the board, like especially vowels, which I found interesting that there was like a little bit of consistency.
From your experience doing this, do you think that AIs will be able to become almost interpreters for people with that kind of problem?
I think so, because if you think about it, you would reverse engineer what a kind of eye program to them. You would think, okay, it's the opposite now. Now understand this is this, this is this, and I feel like if analyze a vocal pattern, because everyone, even those with aphasia, still have consistency in their voices and in the way they pronounce things. It's just
Excellent.
how they pronounce it differently. So, I found that fascinating. This one was a lot of fun for me because vocal communication was my specialization in college. And this was, especially being a voice actor and being involved in sound engineering, this caught my interest a lot because it's just so important. It's so important for people to have the right to communicate how they want to. So
amazing.
We're ready to see the next one.
Sounds good. Okay, cool. Let's move on forward to the next experience. Now, with this experience in particular, and then we'll wrap up there, I do have to warn everybody that this is the most intense one. It's going to be very loud. It's going to it's not fun. It is a autism diagnosis simulation, which allows students to get a better understanding of how intense you emotionally can become when being overloaded with options at a restaurant, with sounds, with sights. Everything is cranked up to maximum as far as your senses go.
Oh, great. This is going to trigger me.
So
Probably going to trigger me too.
It's and with this one especially, like if you want to like turn your volume down, I'm only going to do it for about a minute. I'm only going to have the exercise up for just 1 minute. If you want just temporarily to turn your volume down, close your eyes, I'm just going to do it for 1 minute for those of us who do not want to go through that experience. If that sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. So for this, oops, I went to the wrong place. This is the right place. Okay. All right. Once again, I'm just going to load it in for just a minute, and then I will stop it down in 3, 2, 1. So the only objective you have is just to order something. Something to work with.
Hi. What's on the menu? Oh wait, hang on.
Hi, waiter. I'm interested in having a steak sandwich.
What? I'm sorry, it's hard to hear you. What did you say?
I can't hear you. Could you speak louder, please?
Well, no need to be rude. I guess I'll just take burger?
Waiter, can you bring me a tuna sandwich, please?
Do you want me to
All
speak
right, just a
louder?
couple more seconds, then I'll wrap it up.
Please repeat that. What do you really want?
Yes.
You know what? Just bring me a salad.
I just heard my friend say.
I would like to have a steak sandwich,
I just
please.
heard my friend say not to be rude. You're being a little rude.
Well, maybe your friend should learn to
stopping
speak
it
up.
down.
You know what?
What do you want? Hurry up! I don't have all day.
All right, bring me. I don't know.
Okay.
I hated that waiter. So
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of how rude I made him.
That was very rude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
So this experience obviously is meant to be incredibly overstimulating.
it's overstimulating, all right.
Yes, very overstimulating. And that's the thing too, is that I wanted students to experience, it's not that I've designed it to be overstimulating. I've designed it to be exactly the way it is on a day-to-day basis for those who have certain autism diagnoses where a lot of those senses, such as light, they can have sensitivity to light, to sounds, to all of these things, so that it sounds way too loud, the lights are way too bright, people can be very rude, they can be misunderstanding, they can be disrespectful. Like the waiter, for example, is causing a lot of anxiety, and you're looking at a menu where you can't recognize 90% of the things that are on the menu. You just want something warm and comforting and just a good meal, and you're having terrible anxiety just trying to order a good meal.
I can already even touch upon that right there. If I go anywhere that is completely brand new to me, I'm already in my head, I'm already in a process mode, which takes quite a while. And a lot of times it's me just standing there quiet by myself. But if I go into a space like this, and the menu has a lot there, no photos that at least somewhat help me, and all I see is waterfall of words, and then there's tons of people talking, moving around, it's very crowded, and I feel like I'm then being rushed. I then get so overstimulated, I just kind of shut down to the point that I don't care to eat. All I want to do now is just get out of there, and I just then go into a deep depression afterwards. And I hate that every time that happens. So
Yeah, that's very, very difficult to experience and to deal with in a situation that's supposed to be comforting for everybody.
Mhm.
You know, it's supposed to a restaurant, a place of food, is supposed to be a place of warmth and happiness and camaraderie, and we're all supposed to get together in it. So the fact that it causes such a significant anxiety is what I wanted the students to understand. It's not just that those with that diagnosis are going to be overstimulated. It's actually taking an environment away from them.
Mhm.
So that's the big thing we wanted the students to understand with
yeah,
that.
have them walk into someone else's shoes that deal with that on a regular basis.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
That's what empathy is.
Mhm.
Yes, it is, Steph. Absolutely.
Yeah. And just thank you everybody for coming in and experiencing these very frustrating, unpleasant virtual reality experiences. But I think the big thing is, if you did not like it, good. That means I did a good job.
Absolutely.
Well, what if you
Thumbs up.
liked it and did not like it at the same time?
Yes, that makes
We,
more
the
sense.
guinea pigs,
Absolutely.
salute you.
Yeah.
Well, it's really important that for people to understand and have that empathy and know what other people are going through. And VR is a good venue for that. It's a really good venue for that. So
Absolutely.
kudos for creating this.
Well, thank you everybody once again for coming in and engaging with the, engage actually itself. For where all these experiences are built on. So I just want to
Thank you.
everybody. Of
Yeah.
course, and also want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Tom Furness. It's such a pleasure to be able to co-host with you. Once again, everybody, please check out the Light School, virtualworldsociety.org/light-school.